In this book, Miriam and I would like to tell you how we started our journey into sustainable living and the choices and adaptations we made along the way. We hope our story will inspire you if you are considering taking steps of your own, however small, toward a lifestyle that Miriam and I find so rewarding. Our little farm is dedicated to the production and preservation of fruit and vegetables, which allows us to enjoy at least some homegrown produce year-round. We also raise chickens for eggs and goats for milk. Some years after we started, we added bees for honey. We mustn't forget the honey. But more on that later. Let's start at the beginning. In 1991, Miriam and I moved with our young family into the Forester's Lodge in a small village in the Eifel, a low range of forested mountains in northwestern Germany. I had accepted a position as forester in charge of the community's forest land. We were invited to move into the old Forest Service Farm, which consisted of a 1930s lodge built in the style typical for the area at that time. An outbuilding that originally housed a chicken coop and a pigsty, and the remains of a vegetable garden, almost the size of a football field. The community foresters who lived in the lodge used to grow or raise at least some of their own food, but by the time Miriam and I moved in, traces of their self-sufficient lifestyles were mostly gone. The outbuilding had been converted into a garage, and the vegetable garden had been taken over by Christmas trees. My predecessor had made the property easy care and was growing Christmas trees to cover the rent. It didn't take us long to decide we wanted to restore the property to what it had once been. To that end, we gradually removed the Christmas trees, cleared the former animal stalls of junk, and eventually moved chickens into the renovated space. Meanwhile, the global food industry was being rocked by one crisis after another. Whether it was news about mad cow disease or pesticides in vegetables, antibiotic-resistant bacteria or cruel factory farms, with every headline, our appetite for industrially produced food diminished. The more we read, the larger our vegetable garden grew. We started with just 85 square feet, 8 square meters. But over the years, we expanded it to 3,250 square feet, 300 square meters. The first 2 apple trees on the property were joined by many more, and we also added cherries, plums, and berry bushes, about 40 in all. Sheep joined the chickens, and dairy found its way into the mix when we acquired milk goats. Even today, many years later, we don't know where all this will ultimately lead us. In 2010, for instance, we purchased 2 beehives to help pollinate our fruit trees. We're enthusiastic, but not fanatical. We're not interested in blindly following manuals or accounting for every penny. What is important to us is the well-being of the animals we care for, paired with a workload we find manageable. Our goal is to produce as much food as we can from different food groups.